It's showtime. Welcome all to the amazing episode of PTF, Bole to Part-Time Fun Car with your host Rohan. Guys, today it's not gonna be a conversation or a podcast. It's really gonna be a wake-up call. The reason why I say this is because today we are going to meet a personality who is bringing revolution, who is leading a movement one step at a time. Imagine this, a young, budding, non-profit school in Sacramento has got the courage to transform and change what many public or well-established systems are not able to do. Failed students, homeless students, forgotten students who have been written off. Miracle University is that movement which actually transforms these students into a better future. Let me correct myself. I think Miracle University is not just a movement, but it's a promise. It's a promise for those young buds who are really living the life that they deserve and they should pursue with all their effort and all their passion that they can go with. Now, with all of this, I would like to introduce to you guys Dr. Kadhir Raja, who is going to be our guest for today's episode. Now, picture this. A young boy during his school time struggling in algebra. This lad was asked to get into general or remedial classes. But at home, things were different. His mother was not ready to accept that her son was an average. And what did she do? Like mothers do, take things in their hand. What she started doing, you would be surprised. She started coaching Kadhir in mathematics using rap songs, storytelling. What a creative mentor she must be. And years later, this same guy becomes California's most awarded teacher. Guys, typically many of us believe that one should be a doctor, an engineer, or a lawyer. These labels kind of run the society and the show. But here's someone who followed his passion, who went against the odds, gave anxiety to his parents, and yet made sure he stayed on his track to eventually come up with Miracle University. Let's have a conversation with Dr. Kadhir Raja. Let's get to know how his struggle turned into the biggest opportunity, how he got inspired, and what led to the beginning of Miracle University. I invite all of you to today's episode of PTF, Bole to Part-Time Fun Car, as your host, Rohan, Dr. Kadhir Raja.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello,
Rohan.
Kadhir.
Hello.
It's so good to meet you in person. Already the vibes that you throw is, I can feel the energy in you.
Yes. Thank you.
So, as I mentioned in this introduction, right, someone who was struggling in algebra,
Yes.
got mentored by his mother,
Yes.
and then eventually went on to win an award across the state amongst how many teachers were being contested for that award?
So California has 400,000 teachers in the state of California. It's the largest teaching force in the nation. So I was blessed to be recognized as California State Teacher of the Year out of 400,000 teachers.
That's a milestone. That's a milestone. So tell me about a little bit about those past days when you were actually seeing the system tag you into something, but at home things were different. So if you could let us know a little bit about that.
Sure. And I'll just speak from the heart, and then
That's exactly what we want.
Let me. So basically, I was born in 1981 in the city of Chicago to parents from South India, from Madras, or close in South India. We spoke Tamil at home, and I was raised to be to go to college and to become a doctor, become a lawyer, just like Brother Rohan is saying, right? But suddenly I realized that I didn't really like school. By the time I got to middle school, 5th or 6th and 7th grade, I kept failing all the state exams. To the point, I think my mom looked at me and she was like, "Did I make you? Or what what happened?" And I wasn't sure why I kept failing all these exams in the school. And as a result of failing those standardized state exams, I had to take the regular general classes in middle school. I was not allowed to take the honors classes or GATE classes in middle school. So I was in class with students that were not all motivated to succeed in the school.
Yeah.
So the classes were noisy. The students were throwing pencils at the teacher. And one day I found myself in an algebra class in middle school. And algebra was like X, Y, Z, A, B, C, all these formulas, all these different languages.
Yeah.
I mean, I spoke Tamil and I spoke English, a little bit English. But I didn't speak this new language with the X, Y, Z, and it was too much. I got intimidated. And I didn't see the point. And I started failing. I started failing miserably, and I soon started thinking that school wasn't for me. Maybe I should go and play basketball. You know, in Chicago in 1980, Michael Jordan was a big hit, you know. And so I would be in class thinking about making a free throw, making a slam dunk, making a three-pointer, being like Mike. Maybe I should go and play basketball, but certainly not be a student. So I was failing my algebra class, and then all of a sudden, my mother, she stepped into my life. Not just as a mother, but more as a mentor. And she realized that I was miserably going to school with this peach-colored algebra book, and I think half the pages were ripped up. I don't know how, but she was, she was like, "What do I do?" And so my mom, Amma, I call her Amma, she determined to find a way to teach the algebra in a way that I could understand.
Wow.
So she started using examples. X is a dog, and when you're trying to solve for X, you're trying to get X by itself. But really, X is a dog. And you're trying to get the dog by itself before it bites everybody on its block. So when you solve for X, you're trying to isolate the variable, but you're basically trying to isolate the dog. And all the other numbers need to go to the other side of the equation. And they have to change their operation when they go from one side of the equation to the other side. Just like you're running from one neighborhood to another neighborhood, because the dog is going to ruff, ruff, bite you. And so my mom would just come with some creative stories, you know.
Sure.
And she was, I guess, determined and innovative to make this foreign language called algebra interesting to me. So as a result, I started liking the class. I started seeing the dog when I was actually solving for X. And it became like a game. It became fun to me to try to get the dog by itself. I think I had been bitten by a couple dogs when I was young. So I remember, I think that pain really affected me in a positive way.
Yep.
And so I was determined to get X by itself, the dog, you know.
Right.
So I passed my algebra class. I think I pulled off like a C or a B. Somehow, when I was miserably, desperately failing my algebra class. So that experience of passing the most impossible class to the most impossible student, me, because as I said, I was failing all the exams, right? To the point people would call me special. I didn't know they were probably thinking maybe he should be in special ed, but I took it as a compliment. They were calling me special. But so I ended up passing my algebra class, and that experience of finally getting to a C or a B, it triggered this spirit in me, you know. It motivated me to, you know, keep going on in school and believe that I was smart, believe that I could do something with my life, believe I could go to college, believe in myself, because I overcame an obstacle that I thought was impossible. And that planted a seed that has, you know, motivated me till this very day to pay it forward, to share the blessing and the miracle that I had when I was lost in middle school, to share it with other people, other children. And so that's how we're here today.
Love it. I mean,
yes. Thank you, Rohan.
I just can't stop my goosebumps right now.
Oh, thank you for the goosebumps.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you have graduated from UC Berkeley, right?
Yes, I graduated from UC Berkeley. That's a whole story in itself.
I'm sure.
But Yes, I graduated from UC Berkeley in 2003.
How was the feeling of, especially your mother, who once had seen you struggle in algebra and then, getting graduated from a renowned university in California?
You want me to tell you the truth?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Well, it was very amazing that her son graduated, but it was also terrible. And let me tell you why it
Why?
was terrible. Because while I graduated from high school, I passed algebra, graduated high school, went to college, UC Berkeley, right? Sounds great. I was so touched by the miracle that happened to me when I was in middle school that I went to college and I decided to become a teacher. Pause. So, as Rohan was saying, as a child growing up in a family especially from India, coming from the developing country, looking for a better life, who wants their child to go to UC Berkeley to become a teacher, right? We used to say every parent wants their child to have a great teacher, but no parent wants their child to become a teacher.
Very well said.
But we want our children to have the great teacher. So I was a rebel, and I was the black sheep, the rebel in the family. I caused a lot of problems and a lot of anxiety to my family because the miracle that I had experienced because of my mom and other mentors, I was trying to share it with other children in the city of Oakland, because the city of Oakland was right next to Berkeley. So when I went to UC Berkeley, I went thinking that I'm going to be maybe a medical doctor because my parents had fed into me that I should go into medicine or into law or business. So I took a few biology classes and chemistry classes at Berkeley.
Okay.
And I ended up becoming on probation because I was failing all those classes because I didn't enjoy stoichiometry. I didn't enjoy balancing equations. I didn't enjoy chiral molecules. I didn't enjoy any of that stuff. So I started volunteering in Oakland, East Oakland, at a time when, Oakland was a city which was ridden with lots of violence, crime, drug abuse, homelessness. And I was volunteering at an after-school program, and I realized that I had a gift. I was able to connect to other youth who were in middle school. Remember, middle school. They were in middle school, but these were children in Oakland who were written off as dropouts. These were children who were failing their algebra class or their English class. And for some reason, I was able to connect with the youth, the children, the same children that were fighting, the same children that were getting bullied out of math class. And they were really smart. They were like me when I was in middle school.
Wow.
They needed to be unlocked. That miracle needed to be unleashed.
Yeah.
And perhaps I was able to empathize because I had been in the similar shoes as some of the youth in Oakland. And that was my gift. So I ended up graduating from UC Berkeley, but my major was not biology. My major was not computer science. My major was not law. My major was American studies with an emphasis on race, education, and poverty.
Wow.
And my mission was to empower all the children, the youth, that had been written off as failures. And so when I told this to my parents, they were traumatized. They called all of the family. They even volunteered to fly them from Chicago to Sacramento because we'd moved to Sacramento just so they could convince me that I was crazy. So my parents would fly out like 10 different uncles and aunties, and they would form a circle, and they would try to somehow persuade me that I had gone nuts and I need to go back and pass biology and chemistry and not teach in Oakland. So when I graduated, and I told my parents I was going to medical school just to make them happy. But actually I was a teacher at Skyline High School in East Oakland. So while they were happy that I graduated, it was also a very challenging moment because I had followed my passion and my calling, which was tied to the miracle that my mother had been involved in creating for me. So it all came back around,
Yeah.
if you really think about it.
Totally. And this, how interesting it is, because the way the turns and twists have come up in Kadhir's career path, that itself is a testament to where we are today. Kadhir, I would really now like to touch the part where, as a teacher, you were awarded as, the State of the Teacher Award across so many competitors. And coming from this, the legacy of educationists, what led to the founding of Miracle University?
So we will pick up from UC Berkeley.
Yes.
So I was the troublemaker child, as I said, and I was teaching in East Oakland, Skyline High School. But I had told the world that I was in medical school. Remember that.
Yeah.
So during my time as a teacher in East Oakland, in some of the toughest, roughest schools, I discovered that I was able to unlock the potential in hundreds of students that had been written off as failures and dropouts. So I taught in a high school in Oakland, then I taught at a continuation school in Oakland. The continuation school was for students that had been booted out of every high school in the city of Oakland.
Yeah.
And even at the continuation school, I was able to connect. I was able to establish a relationship with the child that
Wow.
nobody really wanted to interact with. I was able to explain the English, the history, the math in a language that the student could understand. So I realized that I had a gift, and a lot of people were starting to tell me that, man, you have a gift. You need to find a way to replicate this and spread this and help many children, many students. Then I moved from East Oakland to Sacramento, California.
Okay.
Then I became a teacher at Grant High School, which is one of the most challenging schools in Sacramento. It's an inner city school in a neighborhood that is struggles with poverty, crime, homelessness. It's in Del Paso Heights, North Sacramento. There also I was a teacher. I was a teacher in the special day class. I was known as a special education teacher. The students in my class were known as mild to moderate, meaning their disabilities were mild to moderate. They had autism, cerebral palsy, mild retardation, emotional disturbance. They had all these labels that made you feel like they're not capable of doing the same level of work that other students were doing. So I was a math teacher in the special day class. My students were supposed to do a book that was half the size of the other students, the other 1,000 students that were doing the general math. I was an algebra teacher. I was an algebra teacher. I was an algebra teacher in the special day class.
Okay.
So obviously, I was not going to have the students do Sesame Street ABC book, because I felt the students could do the same algebra as everybody else if they were taught in a certain way. Even though the school district and the public school system told me it was impossible. It was impossible. So we challenged our special day class students. And what happened was they took the same book that the general ed students did.
Okay.
They took the same statewide assessments that the general population took. They didn't take the special ed assessments.
Right.
Our special ed students, our students in special day class, known as special ed, they started outperforming the general ed population.
Wow.
In the same math assessments the whole year.
The whole year.
The whole year.
Wow.
At Grant High School when I was a teacher. Year number 2, I had another 100 students that were in special day class. Again, I was an algebra teacher. Year number 2, again, our special day class students outperformed the whole school in algebra on the same assessments. Something was going on because it was told to be impossible for the special day class students to do any algebra. They were supposed to do Sesame Street, ABC.
Yeah.
So we were invited to conferences to speak all around the city of Sacramento to explain why and how the students that were labeled as impossible were able to outperform their peers in algebra, the most difficult subject. The most failed subject in America is algebra. In fact, failure in algebra triggers the most dropouts in the United States, right? If you don't pass algebra by the 9th grade, you are 70% likely going to drop out of high school. All coming from families that were going through some type of struggle, whether it was incarcerated parents, foster care, homelessness, all types of challenges, or parents that were strung out on drugs. And year after year, our students would outperform everybody in the school in the district. So in 2010, I became Teacher of the Year for the city of Sacramento, because by that time it was nearly 1,000 students now that had no chance of succeeding in algebra, but they were outperforming everybody. And in 2010, we created a model. It was called the CREATE model. It was a teaching model. The CREATE model is the teaching model that is the foundation for Miracle University, which is our nonprofit and independent movement today. So the CREATE teaching model, I was asked to write a book about our teaching strategies, so I could share it with the rest of the city, state, and nation. My students and I, we were invited to speak all over the state by 2010, 2011, from San Diego to LA to Richmond to everywhere. And then in 2011, I was recognized as Teacher of the Year for the entire state, which is out of 400,000 teachers. Again, this was tied to our results. We come with results, with thousands of children that had no chance, especially in algebra, the most failed subject in America. So because I was Teacher of the Year for the state of California, I was sent to see President Barack Obama and his Education Secretary, Arne Duncan, in 2011 as the ambassador, as the education ambassador for the state. So I went to see Arne Duncan, Education Secretary, and I asked him, "Sir, what do you want me to do with this California Teacher of the Year plaque award? What do you want me to do with it? I want it to have impact. It looks good on my wall. I can clean it with a towel every 5 months. What do you want me to do with it?" So the Education Secretary looked at me in the eye and he told me, "You have a gift. How do you clone it?"
Oh.
How do you clone it?
Clone it.
How do you clone it? He asked me if you need to start a teaching academy or a teaching school or a charter school, because he said it's going to be difficult to clone it in the system that loses so many children year after year. America has 1 million dropouts a year. Every year in America. United States of America has 1 million dropouts every year. California has 100,000 dropouts a year. Sacramento has 3,000 to 4,000 dropouts a year. High school dropouts produce 80% of our nation's crimes, 80% of our nation's homicides, 80% of our nation's incarcerated population, 80% of our nation's homeless population or unhoused population, and 80% of our victims of sex trafficking, costing millions of dollars and billions of lives. 80% is rooted in our high school dropout crisis. But yet, in 2025, we haven't solved that crisis. That is at the root of most of our social issues and challenges that plague our society today. So the Education Secretary asked me to clone it. He then sent me to see, at that time, Secretary General Colin Powell and his administration, and to talk to them. And they also told me, clone it. That was about 15 years ago. I didn't know how to clone it. I didn't know what that meant. I was 29 years old, 29. California Teacher of the Year. I was an author. I had spoken all over the nation by that time. Our CREATE model had been presented in Detroit, in Tennessee, in Washington, D.C., in LA, in Las Vegas, all over the nation, as the blueprint for solving the nation's dropout crisis. And we had published a book by the world's largest publishing company, which is called ASCD. But still, I wanted to make an impact, and I didn't know how to clone it. So I came back in 2012 after seeing the Education Secretary, and I tried to clone it, our model, within the system by becoming an administrator, a principal within the school system. And I realized that in order to clone this miracle, we needed to have a team. So we established a team called the CREATE Academy. We had 10 teachers, all trained in our model, our instructional teaching and mentoring model known as CREATE. We took 150 of the most challenging, failing students in Sacramento. And we started our own school within a school in 2012. It was called the CREATE Academy. That was the foundation for Miracle University. The CREATE Academy was said to be impossible, just like everything in my life. It was said to be impossible. 150 students with ankle monitors, from foster care, homeless, kicked out of every classroom. The only thing is, our teachers were trained. Our mentors were trained in our model. What happened? Those 150 students were the highest performing class in a year in the whole school on their standardized exams as well as their GPA. They went from a 0.6 average GPA, 0.6 F, to a 3.0 average GPA in 1 year, as well as the highest scores on the standardized exams. The Create Academy was so successful in a year because it had done the impossible.
Yeah.
It was studied by UC Davis Research Institution, University of California, Davis, and established as a blueprint for America's dropout crisis. It was also made, the Create Academy was also the subject of 3 documentaries. One of the documentaries was Beating the Odds, the other documentary was The Pushouts, and the other documentary was called Solving the Inequality. The Create Academy was so successful that thousands of educators all over the nation came to visit the Create Academy to see the impossibles succeeding. We had the blueprint. We had the solution. All we had to do was replicate the Create Academy all over the school, the city, the state, everywhere.
Yeah.
But in the school system, there's politics. So I ended up having to justify and explain what already had been proven to different administrations that ran the school districts. I was told by many people to go and start my own movement, our own school, instead of having to convince people within the school district that our methods worked when already they had been validated all over the nation. So in 2022, which brings us to today, I had received an epiphany, a realization, a calling. And I realized that I had to stop fighting with the school districts and the system. And I had to start our own movement based on the Create teaching methodology, our mentoring, our teaching methodology. And we had to have our own nonprofit and our own group of teachers. And we can be very intentional with our focus, with our time, because all of us have a purpose in this life. And Rohan has a purpose, and he's doing amazing in his purpose.
Thank you.
You know, you're amazing in your purpose and very intentional. My purpose is to fight for those children that were just like me, who were written off. And I realized I'm not going to spend my life and waste my life having to justify and validate and explain myself to a system that has no idea and no solution for dropouts, because there are still 3,000 to 4,000 dropouts in Sacramento today. There are still 1 million dropouts today in United States of America. That holds many of our cities across the nation hostage to homelessness, crime, all the stuff we see on the news every single day. So in 2022, my mentors told me, stop fighting. And I stopped fighting with the school districts. And I realized that we need to start our own movement. The movement became known as Miracle University. And in 2023, we launched our nonprofit, which is a 501c3, an independent movement, as well as our own school, which is known as Miracle University High School. And today, Miracle University is a movement. It's a revolution. It is basically, this is a special time in Sacramento, in our state, in our nation, because Miracle University is here to go after all the dropouts, all the children that have been written off. Our mission is to end the dropout crisis as Miracle University. Our mission is to end the dropout crisis by 2030, in 5 years.
Beautiful.
In Sacramento, those 3,000 to 4,000 dropouts will be zero. It'll be zero. And once we end the dropout crisis in Sacramento, we will replicate the Miracle movement city by city across the state, from here to Oakland to Los Angeles, as far as it goes, until there are no more dropouts. And our vision as Miracle University is not only to save every child that has been written off, but it is also to prevent 80%, the majority of our crimes, homicides, incarceration, homelessness, and victims of trafficking, and also save billions of dollars for the state and the nation. And so that's our vision. Miracle University has had 300 students since 2023 that have been enrolled at Miracle University.
Okay.
These 300 students had zero chance of graduating. They're all dropouts. The school system had written them off as impossible. You know, we love that word, impossible.
Right.
We love that word, impossible.
Yeah.
We love that word, impossible. So, these 300 students that we had since 2023 were labeled as impossible by the public schools. These 300 students, all high school students, they all left their school and they came to Miracle University. The students that we've had, the 300, 90% of them were in foster care. They were experiencing homelessness, or they were on probation. And they actually came to school with an ankle monitor on their ankle. So we have every challenge in front of us when we talk about the miracle students. We are a tuition-free school. We don't even ask our parents, because we're a private school. We don't ask our parents of our students to pay. We don't get any funding from the districts or the county or the state. So, and we have the most challenging students. Yet, despite all of these challenges, nearly 100% of our students have graduated and gone on to either college or a trade school. If a student does not graduate from Miracle, it's because they moved out of state or something that was way out of our reach. But besides that, 100% of our students graduate and they end up in a college or a vocational school, despite being written off as impossible. The majority of our students are the first in their family to graduate from high school. Many of our students, they sleep in the car, on the sidewalk. Many of our students sleep in the tent, skid row, basically, and then they come to school. How does Miracle work? Why is Miracle University so successful? Number one, every student at Miracle University, they have the best mentor. The mentors at Miracle University, they're trained in our CREATE model, right? Our mentors, they fight.
Yeah,
they will go
I'm
to
sure.
your house. If you're failing Rohan, they will go to your house on a Sunday.
Right.
They will have dinner with your parents.
Wow.
Our mentors, they speak the language that the student's family speaks. Our mentors, they speak Spanish. They speak Dari and Pashto, because many of our students are from Afghanistan. Our mentors, they can go to the housing projects and they can speak the language that connects with the people.
Super.
So our mentors are like Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
Failure is not an option
Yeah.
for our mentors. They monitor your attendance, your behavior, your classwork, your wellness every single day for their students. Also at Miracle University, our teachers, they are the most trained teachers, the most qualified, because they're trained under our teaching model.
Got it.
So we have the best teachers. They know how to teach math, science, English in a language that the student will understand. Every student at Miracle University also has an internship.
Okay.
So the internship could be welding, it could be cosmetology, it could be nursing.
Some skill.
So that
skill-based.
connects the student with the real world.
With the real world. Yeah.
Every student at Miracle they earn a monthly scholarship that could be up to $100.
Nice.
That they have to earn it through positive attendance, behavior, achievement, right? And they can use that towards keeping the lights on, helping mom, getting a new shoe because they haven't had a shoe for 2 years. The scholarship goes a long way in boosting the self-esteem. We also offer transportation. We have Miracle Uber drivers that go and pick up the kids from the homeless shelter, that go and pick them up from the car and bring them to the school. We also make sure we have Parent Miracle University, where we have parent engagement workshops. So we teach the parents how to be effective parents and how to motivate their student, their child, and never give up. So we have a holistic village called Miracle University. Therefore, we make it impossible for a child to fail. That's the goal, to make it impossible for a child to fall to the cracks. And so at this point, we have 2,000 students, 2,000 plus students that are on the waiting list for Miracle University. These are 2,000 children that basically have nowhere else to go because they have already failed in their other high schools.
Is there a capacity restriction because of which they are on the waiting list?
So at this point, we have no capacity restriction. Our only challenge is finding sponsors for those students. We already have the building space. We have 3 buildings. So we have the capacity to serve 3,000 students.
Okay.
Also, our model is independent studies or hybrid, which means the students have the option to do some of their work at home.
Okay.
So we don't have to have all the students
In the
together at the same
classroom.
time. Also, we already have the staff. We have the best teachers, the best mentors, highly trained. Our methodology is nearly 100% effective. We have major community support. We have the support of the mayor of Sacramento, who's visited several times. We have the support of California State Treasurer Fiona Ma. She has visited several times, and she also did the keynote address at our Miracle graduation. And she's running for Lieutenant Governor. And we also have the support of the Sacramento Kings. We have the support of all the news and media in Sacramento. Universities have partnered with Miracle University because any Miracle graduate, for example, can get free admission to Sacramento State University. So we have support of so many entities and organizations. Our only challenge is to simply find sponsors so that we can provide the Miracle for those students that are on the waiting list. For example, at Miracle University, our tuition is only $5,000 per year per child. The regular public schools receive $15,000 per year per child. $15,000. Yet, they fail 3,000 to 4,000 kids every year. And 3,000 to 4,000 kids drop out every year, despite $15,000 from the state to the schools every year.
Do you think
Miracle University, with our tuition, which is 1/3 the cost, we're able to make sure that 100% of our students graduate. All we need is enough sponsors. But right now, the Miracle fever has spread. So we are engaging businesses, corporate sponsors, whether it's Walmart, whether it's McDonald's, whether it's Sacramento Kings, whether it's philanthropists, kind people that want to give back. And we invite them to basically sponsor 1 or 2 students, or as many as they can. Because once we have sponsors for those 2,000 plus children, 3,000, there will not be any more dropouts in Sacramento. They will all graduate, they will all go to college, or they will go to a vocational career pathway.
Kadhir, after listening to all of this, the immediate question that I have, or the curiosity that I have, is has any student, if you could share, like if any student from the Miracle University who actually passed out and is now leading a better life,
So many.
how has that experience been? Like, how do you feel when you listen to them that, okay, at a time, I was in a miserable state of life and then miracle happened, literally. If you could share like
So
just
many.
one story.
So many.
I'm sure.
So many. Wow. One of the Miracle students' name is Carmen Ayon. Carmen was failing in math. She was failing. She was labeled as a high school dropout. Carmen was put into Miracle University, our class basically. She became the biggest scholar in the whole Miracle University. She passed her classes. She graduated with nearly a 4.0. Carmen Ayon went to UC Berkeley, University of California, Berkeley.
Wow.
She went to law school, and today she's working with Senator Ashby in Sacramento, near the Capitol. This is a student that was labeled as a dropout who was failing miserably all her subjects, especially mathematics.
Yeah.
We have another example, Mastora Matin. Mastora Matin, she's right now a mentor at Miracle University.
Wow.
But just 2 years ago, she was labeled as a dropout. The school said she was impossible. Mastora Matin came from Afghanistan. And so language was a little bit of a barrier. But she was put into Miracle University. She had the right mentors, the right teachers, the right internships, the scholarships. She had the motivation, which is 90% of the battle. And she graduated, and now she's at Sac City College, and she's serving as a full-time mentor at Miracle University. We have so many stories like that.
Beautiful.
So many.
Beautiful. And I think these in themselves, each story is a medal to founders like you and your team who has been, putting in heart, soul, and sweat.
Yes, we're just an instrument, just a humble vessel, and we're just warming up. We're just warming up.
I mean, today I can say that I am actually witnessing a miracle. So, beyond all of this work, how do you enjoy your life? Like, what's going on these days?
Well, to enjoy life, number one, I'm very grateful to have an amazing wife. She basically keeps me balanced, and we are not only husband and wife, but we're best friends. And so we can't have real deep conversations, and I'm definitely grateful for the friendship, as well as obviously being husband and wife. And so we hang out a lot when we have time. I also maintain my health, my mental and my physical. So I'm a boxer. So I basically do my boxing routines and my running and sprinting and shadow boxing at least 4 times a week. All that is really important to maintain the spirit at a level where no obstacle can touch. And so do that. I also spend a lot of time basically, in prayer and meditation. just with me and the Lord, and basically receiving guidance and instruction, and spend a lot of time, just in quiet space, so I can be in prayer and have some spiritual guidance, so that I can be the best instrument that I can be.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that I do outside of miracle.
Lovely.
Outside of miracle.
I think the question here is really one to the authorities and to the system, that when and what is something that we need to really take things in hand. And second, I definitely appreciate, the so many names that you mentioned who are backing Miracle University and this movement, right?
Yes.
Would you like to also, share a few notes of invitation to someone, if they would, as an individual or maybe as a group or as a corporate, would want to start contributing towards this movement? How can they do it?
Yes.
And if apart from funds, is there any other way, maybe through mentorship or volunteering,
Yes.
can they contribute?
Yes. No, so I thank you, Brother Rohan, just for this opportunity, and hopefully many more to come.
Absolutely.
This is a special time for the city of Sacramento, for the state, for the nation. We have 1 million dropouts every year in the nation. California has 100,000 dropouts, and Sacramento we have 3,000 to 4,000 dropouts. This produces 80% of our crimes, homelessness, incarceration, trafficking, and so many other challenges. We can end it. You can end it. You can end it. Both of us, all of us together, we can end it. We don't have to watch the news anymore about crime and homicide and homelessness, etc. And so the way we can work together, number one, we need to find sponsors. So if you're able to sponsor one of our miracle students, if you're connected to a corporation, an organization, right, like Nike, like Coca-Cola, any organization that would like to make a difference, would like to see the miracle across the stage, because our sponsors, they get to participate in the graduation, and they get to witness the child they sponsored cross the stage and go to college or go to something amazing. So we invite all individuals, we invite all organizations, corporate partners, everyone, to be a part of the miracle movement by sponsoring as many students as possible. How does somebody sponsor a student? They would just go to our website, right? miracleuniversity.net, miracleuniversity.net, and then there's a tab that says sponsor a miracle. You would just click sponsor a miracle, and then that would lead you to a link that allows you to sponsor one of our miracle students. At Miracle University, our tuition is $5,000 per student per year. A sponsor may only be able to contribute half of that, which is fine. Anything helps. So we truly appreciate anyone who's willing to sponsor or share the word, so we can get as many sponsors for our students, because once we end the dropout crisis in Sacramento, we will replicate across the state. And once we have many sponsors and many organizations and many city leaders behind this movement, we believe that we will have the resources to unleash the miracle within every child. The other way that you can help, or somebody else can help, is we love to have people offer workshops and serve as mentors for our students. So if somebody has expertise in robotics, in financial literacy, in nursing, in overcoming obstacles, whatever your expertise is, we would love for you to share it with our students and do workshops with our students and parents. So that would be another way. But right now, our biggest need is definitely to engage corporate sponsors and individuals who want to make a difference, not only for that child, but also for the city and the nation, because we will prevent 80% of our crime, violence, incarceration by ending the dropout crisis. So we really appreciate you, Brother Rohan, and we invite everybody to be a part of this miracle movement. We are in this together. So thank you.
Fantastic. I think this itself is a wake-up call to all of us. Make sure that we really contribute through whatever means possible, because literally there is a miracle that's happening, and it has been transforming so many lives. And I really appreciate you, Dr. Kadhir, for taking out this time.
Thank
First, and second, really leading your way to this movement.
Thank you.
And With this, we come to the end of our episode of PTF, that's Part-Time Fun Car. And I just have a little token of love from our merchandise sponsors, that's Messy Hustlers.
Oh, wow.
So here you go.
Thank you.
I'm sure you are a hustler.
Yes. Yes.
Whether
We
messy or
hustlers.
not.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thanks a lot again.
Thank
and
you.
We will definitely share the word and
Yes.
to all the PTF community.
Yes.
Would
Share the
really
word.
love to share
Make
as
it-
much as
make it
possible
go
about
viral.
Miracle University.
Yes.
This was your host Rohan, and this was one miraculous episode of PTF, that is Part-Time Fun Car, with the one and only Dr. Kadhir Raja. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Got a passion, got a dream. PTF is the team. Part-time funker, full-time bleed. Tune in now, set your spirit free. Feel the rhythm in your soul. Let the music take control. Every beat will make you whole. Dance until you lose control. We got the fire, we got the sound.